Hello, all. Welcome to another episode of Direct Shift Stories. And today we have our very special guest, uh, The Powers of Her with Shakiya Morris. Welcome,
Hello.
Shakiya.
Hi, how are you doing today, Rod?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How
Good.
are you?
I am well. Well, trying to stay warm, but well.
Awesome. In fact, if you are taking time for yourself, if you are trying to get some headspace right, uh, we have to listen to our special guest today, who always stresses on the fact that you have to be magical, you have to be colorful, you have to be always be in the present moment with the nature, no matter what. So let's join this particular Direct Shift Stories conversation with Shakiya. Shakiya, so please let us know or let our audience know about how your journey had started, or please give a little intro about yourself. Thank you.
Well, I would be happy to, and thank you for having me. So
Great.
I grew up in a town called Peoria, Illinois, and this is a city where it's if it happens in Peoria, it can you can make it happen anywhere. Many people would know of it as Richard Pryor's hometown. So there's a lot of colorful things that come out of Peoria. And having this experience there, it really, and then being able to go out and travel because my dad was in the military and we had the ability to go from state to state and have different experiences at a young age. And seeing this different backgrounds and my own having being biracial, that makes a difference, and I think the society has only shown this in recent years of how far we still need to go. So, um, but getting back to it, I had this innate feeling like I need to do something bigger than myself. Always wanting to help other people and feeling like we must not ever forget where we came from. We are a biological being. We are a species within this on this planet, and I think that reconnecting with that and connecting with others will help us not only be more prosperous, but help us have a better world overall, health uh, and future.
Okay. Awesome. In fact, so what made you choose this particular journey, Shakaya? Like, how did this start?
So biophilia for me it was just in the past several years. And I want to say 2013 is when I really started getting into biophilia, its practices, its methodology, and sharing it with others. I really felt like I needed to start sharing this. And my background includes helping people in the community. As far as if we had a homeless community, I reach out to them and see what they need, and see how we can be of assistance as community members. I think that each person has control um, over helping one another and releasing that control and doing it. It creates some type of reciprocating emotion and improvement overall of our environments, both ambient and physical. So I wanted to
Okay.
just share that with people. And here we are today. um, More information, more people are getting more excited about it. And I think that the pandemic has only exacerbated those inequities that were hidden before. And the biophilia basically touches upon each one of those levels that the pandemic has exposed. So my goal now is to share what I have learned with other people, and hopefully they can get on board with it without being too afraid of the big challenge that we have ahead.
Okay. That's awesome. So, what is that one thing you wish you had known before you began this journey?
The pushback. I should have been prepared for the pushback. Um, and by that I mean the uh, involvement or interference of traditional views with progressive ideologies. And I think that I think that's a struggle that many people in both policy of sustainability and international development and even in the academic part is having to deal with keeping people on board for enough time to where we can make a change. And I think that is where the struggle is not only for myself, but for many others who are professionals in the sustainability and regulatory fields.
Awesome. So, the kind of engaging the communities, the kind of programs which you have built through the power of her story. So, could you please share more about that?
All right, so the powers of her is to promote women empowerment, but together with each other. At the end of each one of those, it's her. And once we start appreciating the entire community and involving the entire community, I think that's when we start to see those changes. So the powers of her is to provide solutions, sustainable solutions for businesses, schools, anyone who needs some type of assistance with um, obtaining information about biophilic or sustainable international development. And my goal is to not only educate businesses and their, parents and students, but also future generations. These future generations is my main focus, and I think that going and using my expertise in business and approaching the top, I can be able to trickle down. They will then help me trickle down that information in the appropriate way if necessary. So my audience is broad, and I have had a chance to work with people internationally on coming up with solutions for their communities. And since moving to Oklahoma, I have been able to help multiple organizations here. The Lions Club organization, they had a park that was closed and dilapidated, and I immediately, as soon as I see it, I said, I need to help this organization. So my first thing was to see who I needed to contact to help out. And we did this in a couple of weeks. I contacted them, and they're like, "Hey, we are already going to make this change," and I'm really happy that we have more people on board. So you can see pictures of that on my website, and it's just a really great opportunity to help out the people in that local community and give them a place that they can go to and have fun. It's the social aspect is what I'm getting at here with the powers of her. It's breaking down these exposed inequalities in brown and black communities in America. We have come to a point now where they must be exposed, and the way that they need to be exposed is by attacking policies and regulations, and that's where I come in.
Yeah, many people do step back in starting or sparking the conversation. But I'm glad that you're taking the lead or going through that initiative. So, what is your biggest failure, Shakaya? As in, um, did you learn any, like, whatever the challenges which you have faced in the past as you go through this? Did you have any um, setbacks, and did you go through any failures, or did you learn anything from it?
Oh, absolutely. Success does not come without failure. You must. That's that's how I learn. If I will try again. Anybody who knows me personally knows that I am headstrong and stubborn. And if I can't figure something out, I will work my hardest to figure a solution for any problem. And that is that my biggest failure would be to not do enough. Um, I feel like we all are capable of doing more, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to look failure in the face and basically laugh at it. I know that's cliche, but that's exactly how I look at it.
Okay, and if somebody had to start a similar journey like yours, what is that advice which you give to them? Like, what advice would you give to somebody who would like to have a similar journey like yours?
I would tell them, do not give up. I live by that. Your imagination is everything. Use your imagination and don't ever let anybody tell you no. Because the dumbest ideas that sound they sound like the dumbest idea could possibly be the best solution. So write it down, uh, record it, and never give up.
Awesome. So, what are the resources which had helped you achieve this? Like, how did you not give up, or what are the resources? Can you share any resources or anything which had helped you achieve this?
Well, I honestly, I would have to say my dad, if he could be a resource. He was very headstrong on um, not ever letting the color of my skin get in the way of any opportunity, and don't ever let anybody put me down because I'm a woman. Uh, I think that these things, I share these with my children today, and I think that would be the underlying mantra that I would have to go with there, because I hear in the back of my head, don't give up, you can do this. Seeing the trials that people around me have had to go through, um, I have been able to learn through their adversities, how to address certain situations and even my own adversity. But I like to not project my own onto other people. So that's one thing that you could do, is not project your um, inner negative, and rather accept empathy.
Okay, awesome. So we also know that you are an author of a book, but is there anything which you have read or listened to recently that has inspired you as you go through this biphilic journey?
Yes, actually, the book is called Mastery. I would botch the author if I tried, so I can post that up there if you'd like. It's called Mastery. It is really taking a Zen approach to things, understanding the principles and the fundamental values of life, and that failure is there and it's always going to be there. Basically, what we just spoke about in a nutshell. Um, I think that book will, if you decide to read it, it will honestly give you some type of centering feeling after you're done reading it.
Okay.
It's not so out there. It's not so complex that you can't understand it. Anyone can apply this to their lives. It's very fun.
Awesome. I'll search for the mastery book. Probably I'll get in touch with you, or if you can let me know the author's name, I'll try and Google now. But
Absolutely.
before I search for mastery, like what made you write or what made you author this book, Renewable Energy for Kiddos? So what can parents learn something to? In fact, I have two children. So what is that one thing which I should learn to?
Well, it will tell you the ins and outs. Actually, I'm going to get it, and I will be
Yeah,
happy to
it's
share
right there.
this.
Yeah. Wow,
Um,
that's awesome.
so
Can you flash it to the camera maybe? Oh, okay.
this here,
Yeah, awesome.
I actually, believe it or not, all of these illustrations in this book, I did one by one and attach on my phone, and made this book on Microsoft Word and had the ability to just publish it myself. But this book is it it is to inspire future generations of uh, renewable energy. Renewable energy, I feel that this is the foundation for our future. Our children need to understand resources. They need to understand how they're extracted, what they do to our environment, and this helps them understand it in brief, and the parents too. It teaches you this is a geothermal steam in action. This shows you exactly how a geothermal system is used. I speak about what it is, what kinds there are, the sources, and again, it teaches them ways that these renewable and regenerative resources are made possible. So this here just shows them air pollution from non-renewable energy. It shows you plants that you can put in your home. This is something that is necessary right now during the pandemic to help clean the air inside. And why I have on my website a free um, calendar with the plants that you can color if you would like. But it even has nuclear in there. I know that there's some stigma about nuclear energy. It's going to be there, so it's there, and we might as well use it. Is my under it's we're always going to have it, and why not use it? That's what I feel about the sun. If we can harness its energy, why not? We have wind. Why don't we do that? And what we need to understand is these regional impacts. And so, like here in Oklahoma, I think that wind energy would be best because it is so breezy. I mean, there's high winds all the time over a solar panel. And my idea is because there's such high rates of agriculture here that the pollution from the cows in the agriculture business prevent a lot of the solar rays that we could be getting to
Okay.
reach the solar panels. So I think if we address it as regionally and we understand that as adults, that we can teach our children about the future and about how they can change the future today, then those are when we make impacts. Those are when the biggest impacts can be made. And every single day, I try to instill this in not only my children, but if anybody knows me and they know that I have something to say all the time about something, it's going to be promoting future generations because our future is only as strong as their today. So
That's true.
we must we must share that, and that is what I'm doing with my books. I also have well, it's over here, The Adventures of Ben and Rugby. That is Ben has been recycled, and Rugby is a reusable glass bottle, and it teaches you about their journey, and it teaches you about um, how to save the turtles and what the damage on beaches does in the long term to our oceans. It's full of hidden object games, and I will be reprising that here soon, as well as my podcast. So I'm really excited about the future.
Yeah. So, how did you come up with this particular idea of adventures of Ben and rugby?
I was sitting there drinking out of my reusable glass bottle, and I just
Okay.
started drawing. And I have, once again, innate this innate feeling that I need to help. I need to inform, and I use that in a creative way. I am an artist. I am a creator, and I do like to take charge. And one way that we can do that, I can do that, is by creating a narrative. And my narrative is things that I share. My music, I share my books, I share my voice, and these are ways that I feel that I can make the future better. And yeah,
Yeah. So this is like fictional, or is this from true story or personal experiences about
no,
recycling?
it's about recycling. It's actually about their journey. It's not about the people's journey. It's about the journey of a plastic bottle and he befriends a uh, glass bottle, a reusable glass bottle. And they go to the beach all the time, and this plastic bottle is always there in these bushes. And and the glass bottle's like, why is he there? You know, where's my friend? Well, his friend got picked up by the recycling center,
Wow.
and so he had to go to the recycling center and then has been recycled. So it teaches the kids the process of recycling and the effects of litter and how it impacts wildlife.
Awesome. In fact, last week we had a guest, like couple of weeks, I should say, not last week, but we had a guest on Direction Stories who teaches emotional intelligence for kids, for children. So he has got this grab the wheel concept for children.
Yeah.
Probably he would definitely be interested in reading or probably sharing this to other children or schools across US on the adventures of Ben and Rugby. I'll certainly connect you both.
Well, thank you.
I wish this would become as famous as SpongeBob SquarePants. I mean, we know how successful that was. So let's hope that Ben and Rugby also that yeah. Let's hope that
Thank you.
it's going to be as successful. So who are these? Like, okay, now let's come to another question as to name any three people who had been most influential to you.
I would have to say the three people. Neil deGrasse Tyson, I've watched him my whole life. He inspires me to make the future better. Um, I would have to say Dr. Mary Oxman. She is as magnificent as she is beautiful. Um, and Tim Beatley, because without him, biophilic cities wouldn't be, I don't think that they would have the type of platform that they do today. uh, because he's helped allow that to be made. So I think those three people outside of my family would have to be the most influential.
Okay, that's awesome. So could you also share now coming back to personal life now? What was your first job like? I know that you are a mompreneur, you are a mom aware, or probably doing something on sustainability through online course through Arizona State University, right? So, could you share what was your first job like?
So my first job was um, I was at McDonald's, and I rocked it. Like I said, I love serving people. I have intentionally chosen jobs where I worked directly with people. Um, so within a couple of weeks there, I got considered a star worker, and they wanted me to become a manager, but I was too young. So that type of mentality is what I've always carried with me, and I have always been in love with business. So that just came naturally to me. So it was at McDonald's. I was a cashier and a drive-through cashier and a floor mopper. I did everything, but it was an experience that I still carry with me today.
Awesome. So, again, I guess that was like 2 decades ago, or probably it's been like 15 years, I guess. Again, everybody's first job is always memorable because we know that we start making money, or we are here to save the world with whatever the little pennies which we make. Again, that's something which is always memorable. So, what is your proudest uh, accomplishment in the last decade? Like, if somebody had to ask you, what is one
Right.
proudest accomplishment which you had?
I think stepping up for myself, honestly, that was the hardest thing for me to do, was to speak up for myself. I almost felt like my voice was louder if I didn't say anything, and compliance was necessary. And once I started breaking those bounds and gaining more confidence, um, that would be my I think that would be my proudest accomplishment is gaining a sense of self confidence that I didn't have before.
Okay. And what advice you would give to yourself, to your younger self?
Uh, it's okay to say no, to turn down opportunities.
Awesome.
um, it's okay because when you say no, it some for some reason it allows you a foundation to a whole world of yeses. I know in the sales world, it's you're going to have a sea of no's before you get one yes. But once I once I harness my own self confidence and my own narrative and where I wanted to go and my vision and how I needed to get there, nobody could get in my way.
Awesome. So if you have not authored two books like uh, this particular book of renewable energy for kiddos or rugby and ben, if you have not authored these two books, probably what is that one thing which you would be doing? What would you do with your career if this was not the kind of journey which you had?
I think that I would be a community liaison at some um, at some welcoming center somewhere. I think that that would be a, more of what I would have ended up going into, just so that I could interact with the community and try to make changes to the policies from the inside versus being out there on my megaphone.
Okay, that's great. And how would your mom or how would your parents describe? I know that you come from military background with strict values. You know the kind of discipline which the future generations would certainly require. We know that everybody's doomed with their personal lives. In fact, all the children are with the busy with the gadgets all the time, playing games on the line. So how would your parents describe what you do for a living?
They would probably say she's trying to save the world.
Wow, awesome.
I think that's always been my thing. I'm always trying to help and save somebody from personal feat, personal defeats.
Okay.
I will always be there to help with a hand.
Yeah, always a helping hand is what I've noticed when I requested for you to join. In fact, I guess we were connected on LinkedIn in November. I sent a request and it was a positive tone, and I really like the warmth, the kind of professionalism and kind of messages which we have exchanged. I'm like, awesome, super awesome. But though we are from clinicians background, though our platform is helping clinicians connect to the employers in the healthcare world, at directives, that's what we try to do. We try to help the healthcare professionals save their time, money, and energy. So definitely you would be saving the world, as your parents might be saying. So what is your best tip for making this world a better place, apart from again, I would say apart from voting to Joe Biden, what is your best tip for anybody? What
That was like shade.
to make this
um,
world a better place? What is your tip, best tip?
so aside from no, I think that my best tip for making the world a better place would be to never forget your roots. Always remember your journey and never ever lose sight of the future.
Okay. Always remember the roots and never forget. Okay. Never forget your
Yes,
journey.
I
Always
think
remember
that
the
that would
roots.
be I think that would be the best tip that I could ever give somebody because I think that if more people in their early 20s thought of life in that way, we would have better mid 20s and early 30s. People, the people who are actually making these transitions in Senate and we're voting for new people in primaries. And these are younger generations that are coming up with voices louder than anybody could ever have imagined. So don't ever underestimate the youth, I think would be would be another tip there. Because they have so many ideas and so many innovative techniques that they got technology like in the palm of their hand. And I think that once again, harnessing that energy,
For kiddos.
it
That's right.
will it will really help power the future. So
Thank you.
yeah, I really appreciate you having me on. This is fun.
It's awesome. In fact, you sounded like always remember your roots, never forget the past. In fact, you sounded like Shamla Harris. You know who Shamla Harris is, right? This will be my last question.
No,
Shamla Harris is VP Kamala Harris' mother.
no.
No, I'm just probably seeing probably another American president another 20, 30 years down the line, probably 30, 40 years down the line. No,
That
you
is
don't want to be.
yes. No, that's something that I tell my kids that all the time. I'm gonna be a president one day. It's okay.
You probably you can say that to your children because you are empowering the kids out there. In fact, I had that open right here on my screen. Again, from the powers of her, where you are empowering other women out there. So let me highlight that it was right here. Okay, encouraging the future generations to become more than they could ever imagine, and that's what I could see. All the kids out there, all the children, the future children. In fact, this is something
Yes.
which I grabbed from your website. But it's been pleasure talking to you, Shakiya Morris. In fact, this is an awesome. This is the first podcast on Directions platform. Though we are a startup for last 4 years, though we've been launched our like we've launched our podcast in the last uh, 2 months. In fact, in the last couple of podcasts, this is a unique one, a non-clinician podcast. Uh, I'm trying to upskill myself, but thank you so much for the blessing.
Well, thank
Um,
you.
and I would love to chat with any of your clinicians friends, probably another nurse practitioner whom we spoke about, and probably any other clinicians or physicians.
Yeah.
Would love to have detailed conversations. Probably keep us posted about the upcoming events, virtual events about the authored books which we flashed. And if any of our audience needs to get in touch with you, what is the best place to how do they how should they get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me on Instagram at the powers of her, on Twitter at world needs underscore somo, and on LinkedIn at Shakiya Morris. You can also visit my websites at www.thepowersofher.com, theinterncollective.com, and I will be switching to a nonprofit soon, so it'll be at tpofutures.org. So I'm really excited about the new projects that I have coming up. I'll be releasing new children's books and a new whole season of the podcast. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Awesome.
I dropped my
Thank you.
headphones.
That's all right. Thank you, Shakaya. And for all the viewers, if you're watching the replay, this entire podcast had been recorded, but uh, this would also be sent in our weekly newsletters to our verified clinicians on our platform. And for others who are watching the replay, or if you're watching bite-sized content of this on our social media channels, please do watch this complete episode on YouTube or Facebook. and listen to this entire podcast on Google Podcast and also on Apple iTunes. This would be available. Thank you so much. And do you have anything else to share, Shaka, as a last?
No, I just want to thank you for having me on because anytime that I can share my voice is an opportunity to make the future better. So I really thank you and I appreciate you taking the time out to speak with me and helping me share my platform with everyone.
Thank you. And I'll wait to grab the book on Amazon or probably through
Oh yeah, don't
any of
forget
the
to grab
blog
that book.
article. Yeah, sure. Make sure you go through the links which are flashed in the this particular podcast, and the links which are shared we will be shared in the comment section or in the description for the live streamed video. Thank you so much for everybody, for others who are going to listen to this or probably who are going to watch the replay. Thank you, Shakya. I'll talk to you soon again.
Thank
This
you.
is Raj Misa from Direction Stories. So I'll see you tomorrow. We have our CEO again. Every Saturday we have this show, which is a signature show. So tune in for Smile It Saturday with Sai, and we will share that in our uh, company page. Thank you all for tuning in. Uh, Signing off, Raj Misa. Thank you so much, Shaka. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.